It is now 5:30 p.m., Monday, September 16th, 2019. I'm calling this special meeting of the Paris City Council to order. As per the new state law, we will have the required citizens forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes unless an item is posted on the agenda. The Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for citizens forum. The citizens forum is now open. Anyone wishing to address the council, please step up and give us your name and address. You'll have 2 minutes. And seeing no one, we will now close the citizens forum. Item number 3, discuss and act on an ordinance adopting a budget for the ensuing fiscal period beginning October 1st, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020. Gene, you want to give us an update on what we're voting on here?
Okay. At the last meeting, the council asked me to go back and see if I could produce a revenue neutral budget. And I've gone back and done that by reducing proposed expenditures by $568,338. Effectively, that makes the council could adopt what the effective tax rate is and fund that budget with those reductions. And the effective tax rate, as you know, by state law is defined as bringing in the same amount of money in property tax ad valorem as you did the year before, based on the same property pieces. So now we are at the point in the timeline that we can't really increase any line items at this point because we'd have to have another public hearing for that, and you got to have published in the paper and then 10 days before you can actually do it. So, but we could reduce anything if you wanted to.
Yeah. Okay.
So the ordinance has the reduced budget in there. That's the one that's in your packet.
Okay. I'll start discussion on this item. As I said at the prior meeting, that I was hopeful that we would, for once, not raise taxes. By adopting this budget as it is, we are holding taxes the same, even though the effective rate is going down. Ms. Portugal quite appropriately brought up a possibility of bumping it up a penny or 2 pennies or something like that and earmark the money for downtown development, which we could do tonight. After speaking with Gene, the city has well over $10 million in reserve funds. Reserve funds should never be spent willy-nilly. I mean, it's certainly not for a recurring thing, but for a one-time expense, it's certainly appropriate to consider that. We need about $8 million, as I understand it, to maintain complete fiscal responsibility, but we do have a little money. We also don't know how much downtown is going to cost. They've been finding some creative ways to divert some funds to downtown development through the bond and sewer program, which requires some rebuilding, which they're doing in conjunction with the new plan. There's also some street money that was also has been placed there. So as I understand, it's going to take about $500,000 more to complete the first, the first phase. So we don't know for sure how much, but my inclination on this budget would be to vote on the budget and keep the tax rate the same, with the thought that if we need more money in the downtown project, that certainly the council could vote to divert a little bit of the surplus money to the downtown development. And that's what I have to say. Anybody else have anything to say on this budget?
Well, Mr. Anderson also commented that the police department needs new phone system. And, can they wait until next year? Maybe. But, could you elaborate a little bit more on that? I mean, it's a special system that they're needing to go to, right?
One of the things that I did cut out in the budget was their voice over IP system. The technology they've got down there is aging, and at some point they're going to have to, replace it. It was in the proposed budget at $120,000. It's not going to quit tomorrow, but at some point they will have to do it. So my thoughts were we take it out this year and maybe look at it again, next year.
I don't know about technology, but it seems to be getting more. It's becoming more affordable as time goes on. It's not like anything else where the prices go up.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can wait. I don't know, but that was another area that I would like to see if we can do something with.
How would you like to do that? Or you have any proposal or suggestion? Would you
Well,
want
I
to raise
mean,
the tax rate?
we knew
or-
downtown was gonna cost a lot, so we adjusted our budget for that and we planned for it. So to defer more money to downtown, I think we could be doing something else with it. And I'm, a huge proponent of downtown. But we planned for this project, we have budgeted for this project, and to raise taxes to just put it to downtown, I'm not
Yeah.
sure that would be.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
arguing for that at all.
I would think that maybe if we were gonna dip into our reserves, I would like to dip into the reserves to get the police department a new telephone equipment,
Would that be something you would recommend, Gene? You think that wouldn't be a bad idea? Or
We would still have the policy requirement, as long as we have around $8 million, a little more, that's the minimum that the reserve is supposed to be under policy.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could do that, probably.
that was the only big thing of concern, I think, that was taken out.
okay, yeah, and I noticed that too.
That is of a concern to me.
It looked like you did a great job, by the way, and I know the department heads participated in this, but there was nice small reductions in little things across the entire budget that I thought you did a nice job on. But back to that, what would the council's feeling be on using reserves to, if we think that their telecommunication is very, very important? And also, we would like for 1 year to not raise taxes.
I would like that too.
Is that something, Ms. Portugal, you have any feeling on that?
Well, I think it's always a good move to lower taxes or keep them the same at least. And I hate to see the police department not need technical equipment that is very important. They need what they need to do their jobs.
And I agree with the council people. We don't need to forget about the police department and things they need to do to move ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and it is obviously very important to them and for crime prevention and doing what they do, right, Chief? So, well, is there a consensus that we would like to pass the budget as is, with the idea that we'll look into, would that require a separate council motion if we wanted to authorize you to spend something out of the reserve for this one-time purchase?
Yes, in fact, y'all were talking about meeting in October.
And we'd have to do that
We could
October.
come back and amend the budget
Okay.
to add those two things. We could do it that way for sure.
What two things?
If you wanted to.
Yeah, we
Money
we
for
wouldn't
downtown.
we wouldn't do that. We'd wait till you told us that you needed it. But when you tell us,
But I know the money that Linda was referring to, that we were kind of peeling off some of the bond money to do, would only do half or less of, just expanding the area around the fountain, taking out that first lane. So that's why.
and we don't have to do everything in 1 year, nor should we. But I'm afraid if we have half of the square done and half the square not done, it's going to really not look good. And we don't want to look in construction mode for a year or two.
I think, that $500,000 number that I gave you, I think would allow us to do the fountain and everything up, to the sidewalks. We had talked about at one point, trying to expand that sidewalk a little bit more to do some things there make room for some things on the sidewalk. It wouldn't include that, but I think we could do the streets and the fountain area for that and all the bump outs that we're talking about doing.
All right. Any more discussion on this budget? Gee, we won't even have to vote on the tax increase, which is the next thing if we vote on this budget as is. All right, well, anybody want to make a motion to accept the budget?
I move to accept the budget as presented by Mr. Anderson.
I'll second.
And again, thank you very much. All in favor? Unanimous. And item 4 is moot because we didn't raise property taxes. Go figure. And item number 5, this looks like just a bureaucratic thing. Discuss and act on an ordinance fixing the tax rate and the tax levy and levying ad valorem taxes for the city of Paris for the year 2019 upon all taxable property within the city of Paris in conformity with the charter provisions and ordinances of the city. So is this just something we have to pass to?
Yes, you have to do this, and the tax rate that you'd be adopting is the effective tax rate, which is .51608 per $100.
Okay, I make a motion that we fix the tax rate.
Second.
All in favor? Motion for adjournment. That was
Second. All those in favor?